Welcome back, everyone. Going into the second part of Drop Frames here this week. We're going to talk video games. Let's bring Zeke into the mix, if you know what I'm saying, and talk a little bit about the Outer Worlds. Zeke, you've been playing mostly offline. You played some online.
Yeah, I played a little bit, like 3 hours or whatever.
Yeah, I've played. I don't know. I think I got off the first planet about 6 hours. I think for the start of that game. Co-finished it yesterday. Is that right?
Yeah, yesterday morning.
Yeah. Jericho, you've had some time with the Outer Worlds, right?
I have not played it, and I'll let you guys talk before I jump into it. I've watched a lot of Co's, and I have I'm on the fence about it whether or not I want to stream it or like play it offline, because from what I've seen, it looks fantastic. But I'm curious about Zeke, like you're offline playing, if you're going to continue it, like what's the deal with that? Because I have very limited free time, so.
Yeah, Zeke, why don't you start? I'm also going to show my footage because I know it's earlier. Then I'll dig up Zeke and Co's so I don't spoil anything late game. So yeah, Zeke, sure. How's Outer Worlds going?
It's a good game. It's a decent game. Everything works. Everything is functional. It looks pretty good. It's nothing is revolutionary, or nothing really stands out. It's just like I said, it's a working 7 out of 10 Fallout like game.
Yeah.
It's a good time waster. Like it's a good like zone out for me. Like, and I'm going it offline because there's a lot. Like every line is voiced for the most part, except like little notes you pick up and that kind of thing. But I do find myself like reading ahead when they're talking. Like, since I'm playing it offline,
yeah,
I read ahead of their dialogue and I spacebar and I skim what they're saying and I skip. I do that a lot because there's a lot of flavor text that is, I don't want to say it's superfluous to most, but it's definitely too much for me. Like there's not enough meat in what they're saying. There's a lot of flowery additions, like descriptive additions to stuff that I find myself like skipping over a lot of it to get to the action, because I like roaming around and completing missions and stuff like that, and especially since I'm playing it like on Supernova like Co. It was a slow start because you come across some enemies and they just myrtleize you right out the gate, and you're like, fuck, holy shit. And then you realize like you cannot save it anywhere but on your ship. And you start planning for that. So you're like, okay, it's a lot of start and stop. Like if you're playing now, this probably won't happen because we were talking to Dan's Gaming on Court of Swords. He was playing it. He's like, I played it for a little while on the hardest, then went to the next down, because not being able to save it out in the world is really frustrating. And yes, it is really frustrating at times. A lot of start and stop, a lot of redoing shit you've already done, because you'll get like shot out of nowhere by some, like you'll be running through the countryside and like get ambushed or didn't see an enemy or something like that, and they just destroy you. However, I will say, like after a few hours of playing, after upgrading some stuff, getting better weapons, getting better armor, getting better perks or whatever, it became a little bit more relaxed in that I felt like I could go and do more stuff without the fear of dying super quick. Like I felt like I could, if I got into a situation, that I could run away fast enough before they shot me to death to heal up or head back to the ship and save. But there's a lot of going back to the ship, saving, and then running all the way back to where you were, because you don't want to lose your fucking hour of playtime. So like if it's like a 3-part like quest, like you got to talk to this guy, you got to kill this guy, you got to kill this thing. You go and do that one first part, then you go back to your ship and save it. And then you go out again and do the second part and go back to your ship and save it. Because I mean, for someone like me, I don't want to like accidentally walk into a fucking trap or something, or fall off a cliff or whatever, and then lose all of that progress. So there's a lot of
confusion in chat. This is only a thing on the hardest difficulty.
Yeah, this is super no
Exactly.
Right.
difficulty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Exactly.
Any other difficulty you
what
can
I'm gonna
save
avoid.
wherever, quick save
You can
wherever.
F5.
Yeah.
You can F5 and yeah, save scum anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's the hardest difficulty if you plan on playing it. But as far as everything else goes, besides that difficulty setting, it's average as far as like the dialogue, the stories, the paths it goes. It's very
combat?
like, I mean, combat is okay.
So you're not saying this
It's
is
okay.
not a
It's like,
game.
it's just
This
good.
is not a game. Right. So I am more in line with you guys because I know that this is like right down your alley for a game that you play. Like this is your game. And so watching you play it, I was like, shit, man, he looks like you were playing on the hardest difficulty. You had just started. I was watching your early access and I was like, this game looks really interesting. And I've been hearing nothing but good things about it. And so I really seriously started to think like, maybe I buy this and I just like turn off the lights and play for an hour a night. But the more that I watched, the more I was like, well, maybe it's not like super right down my alleyway. And hearing it from Zeke, like I'm not worried. I just think that this is a great game for those that love this type of game. This like a better Fallout. I
think that's. I hate to be the person that compares a game to another game, but this is
I
what
do too,
Fallout
but-
4 wanted to be.
And inherently that sounds tasty to me.
In
But,
most essence, yeah.
I think if Zeke had come out and been like, yeah, I'm having a lot of fun, like, let's go for it. But, from somebody, especially like, somebody like myself or people that don't have a ton of time to sink into a game like this, it's not like a must buy for me. But I'm also not the target demographic here. I was hoping that I would be coerced into buying it because it does look really fun.
Yeah.
But you kind of hit the nail on the head for all the things that I'm like worried about, I guess.
Right. I mean, they're not doing
I'm
anything
excited to hear-
revolutionary at all. Like it is a Fallout game through and through. Like I think ultimately, I want Ko to weigh in obviously on this because he's the, I guess, designated Fallout guy of the show. But yeah, like
that was before 76.
that's true. Yeah. I do want to be clear that I'm having a great time with it. I'm not saying like I'm not poo-pooing it because it's just a Fallout 4 game. I'm much more interested in this world than I ever was in Fallout. Like the space aspect of it and all of that. The Fallout stuff was always just, I feel like it had been done before with the post-apocalypse crap. And maybe they were the first to do it, but it wasn't the first thing I encountered, so I was never grabbed by it. But yeah, I agree with what Zeke's saying for the most part. I don't think it's necessarily average. I think the writing is actually a little bit better than average for my interest. There's a lot of like small, I guess character is the way I would say to it. Like it's been pretty funny in most of the things that I've encountered. And it's kind of a fun look at the idea of like capitalism to the utmost side of like, this is what happens if Amazon takes over the galaxy type situation and they own your body. So if you kill yourself, you actually have to like pay for that. Like that's part of the game. That's a cool take on that. Not a cool take, I shouldn't say. It's an interesting
Your
take.
body is corporate property. And
Yeah.
if you injure that body, then whoever's around you at the time is
Yeah, everyone
becomes
exactly.
like,
That's
liable
funny.
for that.
That's interesting. It's fucked up. I like that shit.
Ultra capitalism.
Yeah. So yeah, Ko is the Fallout guy here. Weigh in. Like what?
Okay. So first of all, like people in a couple chats I mentioned, like, oh, look at Ko sitting there not saying anything. Oh, he's getting so pissed. No, dude, because here's the thing. The reason that I love Outer Worlds is because Outer Worlds is a love letter to people that already love this genre. If you love first-person RPGs like Fallout, like Prey, like New Vegas, even Skyrim, if you want to break it down, like this game is a distilled, great view on what that type of game can be in current settings, not full of bugs, quests that generally work as they should. Like it's basically a game made for fans of this genre. If you didn't like those games I just mentioned, I don't think this game is going to swing you over. Sure, it's pretty and it does some things pretty well, but it also does some of the exact same things that have annoyed people for years in this genre. And it's doing that on purpose because it's kind of designed exactly for those folks.
Yeah.
For me, I absolutely loved my time in Outer Worlds. I lived in this game for 5 days. I absorbed and loved every bit of dialogue. The voice acting was top notch. The characters were fun and engaging. I loved the different locations. I was digging the main story all the way through. I got a little teary at the end. Like I absolutely loved it because it hit every. I came in with expectations of I want this to hit all the bases of my favorite genre, which is FPRPG. And although there are like, it's not a perfect game. I will be the first to say that. There's actually a pretty good amount of things I'd like to change about this game. It did tick all the foundational boxes to making this something that is really fun and special for me. So yeah, I thought that, like, the music was great, the sound effects were good. I loved going between the planets. The side quests were really great. The companion quests, all except one, arguably, were like fleshed out and actually pushed the characters forward. The tapestry ending is back. You can make big decisions on the different planets that will kind of influence like the entire scale of how that stuff looks.
That's cool.
It was just, it let you do what you wanted a lot of times instead of just locking you into black or white decisions, which was really fun. But yeah, I had a great time with this game. I just really enjoyed it. And I think that all the criticism the game is getting is honestly kind of on point. For instance, like the save thing, there's a difference between difficulty and tedium. I think that's a distinction that isn't always made in this game. I think that endgame armors are surprisingly not very diverse. In fact, they're almost all the exact same look with different skins.
That's yeah.
I was very disappointed that the next tier of weapons is all the first tier with an extra word on the end. So Shotgun 2.0 or
Man, I'd heard
Shotgun
that.
Ultra. That's lazy.
As someone who's
Perks
playing
or
Destiny
something.
with a ton of guns, I'm just like, I need
Oh,
more
yeah,
loot.
dude,
I want
yeah.
more different loot.
even the legendary weapons were just normal weapons with like a little blurb and a little extra crit damage. Like there was
Shit.
outside of the science weapons, which were a lot of fun.
Man, if you wouldn't have said that, I would have kept playing it, Code. Now I'm just like, fuck.
Well,
It's
you know,
same,
it's
same.
the kind of thing. It's the kind of thing where there were certainly parts. The perks, another good example. Like perks in Fallout 4, like some of them are crazy. They can like make or break entire builds.
Yeah.
Where most of the perks in Outer Worlds are basically just like little stat adjustments, like more health, more of this bar, more of that bar. Like, you know, they weren't super creative. So, you know, of course there were things that could be fixed and updated and changed. And hopefully a lot of this stuff will be upgraded and changed in Outer Worlds too, as people have been pretty vocal about the feedback. But at the end of the day, you know, I came in with a set of expectations for this game. And like I said, the game pretty much met all of them. The ending that I got was phenomenal. Just like 10 minutes straight of voice acted dialogue detailing every decision I'd made, all my characters' future histories, you know, gave a little bit of a next step for the franchise if they choose to step it.
Nice.
And yeah, I loved it, dude. I as a fan of an FPRPGs and willing to focus on the things that I really enjoyed, I had a really, really good time.
Yeah. I think it's been echoed in the chat as well. And Jericho, this might be relevant to you. I think you can get this game for $1.
Yes.
Yeah, and the Game Pass. No, I mean like the monetary, like that wasn't
right,
like
the impact. Yeah,
It's
I
more
mean,
like
it might be the viewers mostly is what.
Yeah,
saying
no,
that
that's
for, yeah.
super cool. And also like shout out Game Pass for actually having that. I mean, I think that's
yeah.
That's an incredible
Microsoft is
deal.
great.
Yeah.
Everyone smile.
Hey, Mixer follow
I get
me
more
during
zeros
the
on
break,
the
by
check
the way.
if you smile. Okay, we're good.
Any
Okay.
smilers?
Okay, we're good. We're good. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jericho.
No. Yeah, like my concern was that Kodo, how much? It's like a 30-hour game, right?
Yeah, it took me 45, but I did absolutely
Okay,
everything.
45.
So
Right.
it's a 30-hour game, and you know, kind of designed to play through multiple times, but it's a 25 to 30-hour game if you do most stuff.
Yeah, I think I'd be more inclined to jump into it if I could do 20 hours reliably. I think that what you said definitely echoes some of the things that I was worried about, and Zeke and JP too. Like it's probably a great game. It's probably a fantastic game. It's not so good that I have to play it, even though it's not my type of genre, not super my type of genre. Like I played
boundaries, yeah.
Yeah, like Fallout. I played Fallout 4 enough. I enjoyed exploring it, but I never beat it. I watched people play it after I, got done building my base and had fun. I think I'll watch your entire playthrough and enjoy it, but it's not. The way that people were talking about it the first couple of days was like the second coming of Christ, and I was
There
like,
was
oh
a lot
boy,
of
I gotta
positive
get in here.
buzz, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think most of the biggest complaints Kobe mentioned them is like there's not like variety is not a word that's very used in this game. Like the weapons and all the stuff and the loot that you're getting and the armor that you're getting, it's the same stuff for the most part, except for some number differences. And that can be applied to
Also,
multiple games, but it's got to feel different.
one big thing about the game that became very apparent as I got closer to the end is that the game and the world was relatively clearly designed for casual players. So, and when I say casual, I mean people that are kind of like sticking to the main backbone generally, just kind of
Yeah.
wanting to see the big events and be done.
Mhm.
Because if you stick to that main backbone, you will be relatively well resourced the entire game. But if you play this game like I do, like everything gets blown out of proportion. You end up having like 7,000 of all ammo types, more money than you could possibly do anything with. You get tons and tons and tons of drops like all over the place. Like this game is, I feel like they kind of erred on the side of caution by making it so, you know, you do a little bit of extra exploring and you are set kind of
I
thing.
wanted to ask you something about that, as far as the drops and stuff like that go. It seems like they put they put way more time into the consumable drops than they did into the weapon drops, and it seems like that's the opposite of what we want.
Dude,
Like
not
they
only
give
that,
like crunch berries for this thing, and I never use them.
there's this huge discrepancy. And exactly like you said, by the end of the game, I had so many different consumables that did so many different things. I was like pleading, like, give me an icon across the top of my consumables that says if they're a food or a drink. Do they give caffeine? Is there a buff? Because like it's literally almost realistic levels of different diversity in terms of all the stimulants you can get and creams and buffs and inhalers and like all these different things. It's so overwhelming that even 100% or I shouldn't say 100% because I didn't get all the achievements, but even deep dive playthrough people like me get to a point where it's just like, this isn't worth it.
Yeah.
I'd rather focus my time and effort just enjoying the game and getting new weapons and stuff like that. I don't want to sit down like 5 minutes every time sorting through my inventory, trying to figure out what does what. Like it became a complete mess. I really
And
feel like
I just
they
want
should
to
have
point out
groups or something.
someone in chat says you don't have to pick them up. You're not a gamer.
Yeah, what the get that fucking guy out of here.
Totally out
Get
of
him
you.
the
You
fuck
are not-
out of here.
You don't have
He's
to
done.
get out of
You're
here.
done here, kid.
You don't have to pick them up.
Jesus.
Fuck you.
As someone who
But,
picks up all the loot, by the way, leaving the first planet, there were multiple people in the chat, and I kind of had the same feeling. I got tired of hunting for loot because it just wasn't rewarding. Like I would go and I'd find the like box behind that you have to jump up to a thing and get to the top of it. And here's some light ammo and like maybe a gun that you already have that's one level higher. And that kind of sucked. That was definitely the one
also,
thing that like the exploration wasn't rewarded properly, I think is how I would say it.
And they ruin like you getting like a gun that's like the same gun, but it's a higher level with the tinker ability. It's like you just upgrade the weapon you currently have, and then you don't need to ever pick up like another version of that same gun except to sell it.
So speak to
what,
that,
dude?
Co. Tell me about
Here's
that.
a big issue. Here's a big issue. So, and it's funny because there's two tiers of weapons. There's the base, and then there's the V2s. And the V2s are always like 2.0 or Ultra, stuff like that.
Yeah.
The Tinker, which costs a huge amount of money to keep that stuff up with you, a fully tinkered T1 is generally not even like 3/4 as good as a V2.
Huh.
So
No, I
what
know
happens is you can dump a massive amount of resources into a weapon, like spend thousands and thousands of credit to keep it upgraded. And then all of a sudden you kill the first mob in the new planet and it drops a V2 and it's just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like what? Like what? Like
that's a little unfortunate.
I spent 50,000 credits on this gun and this base weapon and it just dropped and it doesn't, unfortunately, it doesn't really get much better. And then as you start getting like the higher level 30 stuff weapons, the same thing starts happening again. So like the tinkering is cool and stuff, but you kind of have to like always compare it against the base version and never other weapons, especially not other tiers, because there was clearly no lining up done between that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It can really be messed up.
Yeah.
I think
just like I said, if they spent as much time with the variety of weapons or just swapped it, like the variety of weapons to the variety of consumables,
yeah,
everybody playing would be happier, I'm sure.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say the science weapons were incredible. Like they
is
had
that a plasma
really
weapon?
like
Is that what that is?
they should have had like 5 times the amount of science weapons they had. One
They're
science.
unique weapons, JP.
Oh, those are the unique
Yeah,
weapons. Okay.
honestly, I was going to start talking about them, but I don't really want to because it's kind
They're
of
kind of fun to
spoilery,
use them.
and it's
Yeah.
really fun to figure out what they do for the first time.
Yep.
But the science weapons, which have special blue backgrounds, there's a handful of them in the entire game. They are completely different from everything else. Like the way that they function, the way they act, the effects they apply in some cases are on no other weapon. So I really feel like you were just saying, Zeke, like they really seem to focus on making consumables like diverse and stuff, but then they didn't give us a system to easily and adequately use them. And then they just took out all that fun flavor from like guns and armor and weapons, or guns, armor, and other stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I
know.
find myself using like purified water or dehydrated water to rehydrate, and then like mac and cheese or saltuna to like to do my hunger or whatever. That's in the hardest difficulty.
Yeah,
sorry,
because I played on hard, I never even had to encounter that stuff, which makes the consumables even more worthless.
Or whatever.
Yeah,
the thing that could have made this so much more interesting is in the consumables. When you're looking at a consumable in your menu, there should just be icons across the top of the consumable. Is it a food? Is it a drink? Does it buff a stat? Which stat? Like really easy to see stuff. And then what would have been even cooler is they have this very cool system where you have an inhaler. And any consumable can be put into a spot in the inhaler. And when you use your heal, that consumable's effect is applied to you.
Oh.
Really cool idea. But the problem is that if you move something into it, it only uses that consumable until it's gone. So what would be amazing, for instance, is if there was like in your consumable thing where you're selecting what goes in your inhaler, if you could just select a type. Like I want HP buffs to be in this slot and body buffs to be in this slot. And then it would like always be intelligently using any available consumables you have, instead of every time you run out of a handful of consumables, go in your inventory, look through all of them, find the one you want. Oh, I only have 3 of those. Okay, well, I guess I'll be back here in 3 heals. Drag that up there. It's so tedious.
I must have missed that tutorial.
So awesome.
Because I got off the first planet and like I know exactly what you're talking about, but I don't think maybe my medical skill isn't high enough.
I don't think it already does that. Hold on. Maybe I'm not understanding this properly.
Sometimes I wonder why I talk.
No, hold on. I just want to make sure. I'm interrupting you because I might have been totally wrong in what I told you. I don't think it did that for mine. Anyway, maybe I didn't do it right. But all right, what were you saying, JP?
It doesn't matter. What were you gonna say, Zeke?
I think it's first of all, I want to say I think it's extremely funny that JP is the only one among us who gets super pissed when he gets interrupted.
Well, it's because it happens more often. And I think you guys are very polite.
Well, I just don't understand why you're upset.
Yeah. It happens a lot. I should go to Mixer and make a podcast there.
Dirt Frams.
Yeah.
I don't interrupt anyone but JP. And whenever
That
he's
is
talking,
true.
I have a light that lights up that says "Talk Now" next to my screen. So it kind of like
his mods are the ones that activate it. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
The other thing I was going to say though is just speaking to that, like this is mostly like higher difficult, like the highest difficulty, like stuff that you have to deal with, because hunger and thirst doesn't affect the lower, like anything lower than the highest. But the funny thing is, they have an icon for like right by the little bars that you get for hunger and thirst, like of a little food plate and a little water drip. And that's all they would have to do is put it on like the fucking item itself to show you like this is a little water drip means it will rehydrate you. It's
exactly.
Like seems easy. Seems like easy.
Also not having your food and water in the menu you eat food and drink water in. So it's like if you know that you need food or water, but then you go into your inventory to drink food and water, you can't see how much to drink without going back out to the first area. Also, there's no custom waypoints on the map. And also, by now, you'd think that companies like this would understand. When I open the world map, I want to see every quest I have on the world map. Don't make me go back to my journal and like pick a main quest and then go back and look where it is and then be like, okay, that one's there. Then go back to my quest and select a different one. Okay, that one's there. Like, like, come on.
Yeah, anyway. I'm sure that becomes an issue once you get a ton of quests. But being on like the first planet, I think at max I had like 3 quests at one time. So it wasn't the biggest issue, but I would assume that changes throughout the game.
Co, talk about the combat, or JP, you can talk about the combat too. Like, what do you guys think about that?
It's pretty bare bones for me.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it, but again, I didn't expect them to rewrite the wheel, or reinvent the wheel. It was. I played a long guns range user. I was doing a lot of sniped, sneaking headshots. Those worked exactly like I thought. I was able to make a pretty nice synergy where I was getting to the point where my gun was souped up enough to get headshot kills, and then I got it so my TTS bar, which is like this version of VATS, which I actually like a lot better than VATS. I loved how they did TTS and the slowdown time mechanic.
That looked cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can get to a point where it's like headshots are near instant kills. Then whenever you get a headshot kill, it deals damage to everyone around them. And then every time you get a kill, it refills that bar enough to take another shot. So you can get to the point where you just like crouch in front of a group of 5 guys, and it's just like doof, 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 doof. So that kind of stuff's cool. That was fun to kind of make the build around. I don't know what Zeke's doing in this picture, but what is going on here?
Looking at his reflection.
Oh,
No. I was pretending I was taking
you were
a poop
shitting.
and I was rocking back and forth because it wasn't coming out.
I see.
There it is.
I see.
There it is.
Yeah, Mixer deal's canceled for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we can't have that type of shit on there. All right. Jesus. Yeah,
it was like, again, it was exactly what I was expecting. It worked well. It certainly was not doing anything like wild or new in terms of the gun and combat. I'm doing another melee run at some point, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes.
I heard that was pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of this game for me was met expectations, and that was a big part of it.
Yeah, the melee, but that's what I started off melee and pistols, and fuck, it was
hard
out the gate. It was tough. It was
getting in
rough out the
range of
gate.
people is probably super difficult. I would imagine because like one shot does like what, half your bar at that level with no armor.
Well, I upped my sneak too, so I was like sneaking up
right.
behind him, and I do like a sneak attack with a full swing, and it wouldn't kill him. And I was expecting it to like kill them. So I was like, but after you take a big swing, like you charge it up, you take a big old cut, whack, and you're like, that guy should be dead. Nope. He turns around and starts shooting you. And after a big swing, there's a cooldown before you can start attacking again with your melee. So it's like, and you're just standing there getting shot before you can start like swiping again.
Yep, that sounds about
So that happened a lot.
Yeah.
God damn it.
What's that?
That was absolutely right.
Oh, there you go.
I just tested it right in front of my own eyes. They were absolutely right.
Well,
so that's cool. I guess it's already in the game. Definitely should have utilized that a little bit better during the run.
It happens.
Still want the icons because it's still really hard to tell how much you have total. But yeah, that's absolutely right. If you put an item that has effects similar to other consumables, as soon as that consumable is done, it will just pop in the next type. Like you don't even need to do it yourself. It'll just do it by itself. I always had so many consumables that I never ran out of the ones I chose, so I never saw them switch.
Yeah, this actually will relate to what I was saying earlier. I never saw the tutorial for that thing. So, and I think, is that tied to your medical skill in order of how many things you can put in there?
As your medical skill goes up,
so
you unlock more slots in the inhaler.
I never even used that, and I'm done with the first planet. So I would imagine that is something it comes a little bit later in the game that you have to utilize at least.
JP, did you ever get any companions?
I got, I kind of feel like saying some of the companion names is somewhat spoilery because you do quest for them.
Did you get any?
Yes, I got one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I got two.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're not playing on the hardest difficulty, right?
Right. I'm playing on hard.
Okay. When they go down, can you revive them or something?
They just immediately pop back up when they go down after the fight's over.
Oh, okay. Because that companions are a fucking.
Oh, I heard they were a mess. That's why I played on hard. Was specifically because companions just fucking run and die, and you have to reload. And that would just trigger the shit out of me.
Supernova difficulty, it's like companions on passive or leave them on the ship because they'll just fucking die.
Yeah.
They're
in my experience, and I've played like probably 30 hours now.
Yeah.
Do you have companion abilities, Zeke, and everything?
Yeah.
But the big thing for companions, there's two ways you can get around it. If you get first of all, there is a skill in leadership or inspiration that makes it so when you heal yourself, it heals them for a portion, and you can then rank that up. And then also there is a perk you can unlock that makes it so whenever you use your inhaler, if a companion is dead, it revives them, and that does work on the hardest difficulty.
Yes.
It only
and that's the thing, like
every 15 minutes though. And then on top of that, the final perks for companions are auto revive on death. So it gets a little bit easier.
playing with
Yeah.
companions on the hardest difficulty, and you want to use them, you have to like focus on leveling up that like the leadership, whatever that
Yes.
category is, in order
And
for their
even-
survivability, for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Even with all that stuff turned on, I still had trouble with them at times.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it can be pretty bad.
But I'll tell you this, on the easiest difficulty, I murdered entire towns with like barely taking a scratch. So if you want to go murder hobo on easy, you can totally do it. I was just going in like
I was kind of doing that on hard.
slashing and hammering everybody, like everybody in my way. It was
Yeah,
great.
I was kind of doing that on hard. Like if I would pull a camp, so to speak, and they were all coming down like a corridor, I could just spam bullets down that hallway and kill like 8 guys without thinking, like talking to chat and just clicking. So I think the difficulty curve in the game is one of the other issues that a lot of people have said that needs to be addressed for future games or patched or whatever. Like it's a complaint to narrow it down. So yeah.
And I don't want anybody to think that I hate the game. I obviously don't. I've been
Because someone
playing it
that's
for
hated games
multiple
for
hours.
years, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're gonna think you hate the game. It's fine. Just move
Oh
on.
sure, yeah, good point. I don't even know why I defend myself. You're right.
there's
Yeah,
no
but
I think if it makes you feel better, I got people in chat that said, "Wait, I thought Co liked this game."
it's
I
more
absolutely
fun.
loved the game.
It's
I
more
can
fun
still-
for a discussion show to not talk about how good a game is and talk about some of the
Yeah.
flaws. There's
I
discussion.
absolutely
Yeah.
love this game, but it doesn't mean that there are things that couldn't be better.
Yeah.
And, and other people's criticism is still valid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
Still
I mean,
absolutely
I
loved it.
love
think it's amazing.
Jericho, but when he tries to roll over and kiss me in the morning, his breath is so foul. I just can't do it.
It's-
Like, doesn't mean I don't love him.
That's true.
You nitpick every time. As if yours isn't bad.
Co said it was better than New Vegas before the first town. Yeah, because I made it the first time without crashing.
Touche. There were, speaking to performance, at least for me, and I think this is echoed, I didn't have a single bug. It ran flawless at like 100 plus FPS. It's not the most visually demanding game, or sorry, the most hardware demanding game, but it still looks great and it
Technically-
ran great.
Technically, it is standalone. Like compared to Morrowind when it came out, Oblivion when it came out, like Fallout, New Vegas, all those games when it came out, like this game is in a league of its own in terms of polish, technical. Like, dude, my 45-hour playthrough on the release day patch didn't have a single bugged quest. I was baffled.
Yeah.
Like I'm just not prepared for that. Like that's
Must
not
be
how
nice.
games work anymore. They're not supposed to work right when you get them.
That's funny
didn't they
that
get
that's
the
like
memo at Obsidian?
yeah, that's
Yeah,
like a,
like
po- a
it's-
positive for like an IGN review. Didn't have any bugs.
Yeah, no, it's really funny because like maybe if we talked about it a little bit either on stream or maybe even earlier in the show. It's the kind of thing where we're so conditioned these days to have it be like things not working properly that when we actually like get our money's worth, it's like this is amazing. Like whoa, like this is awesome.
Yeah.
I can't believe this. It works. It's kind of a sad thing, but at the same time, like you gotta give these companies dap when they do it because it's like sing it from the rooftops. Like these guys did it right. Like we like them more because it's not buggy.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Talking about bugs and Bethesda, 2 things, and this is kind of maybe over talked or talked to death. Is Bethesda like on life support right now? Like
You
what?
stupid fucks over there.
Like,
what
what
are
are
you
they
doing?
doing with this
You know
Fallout
what it is?
76 shit? Like what the fuck?
What are
Obviously,
you
I've
doing?
I have heard so many rumors over the last bit, but here is the rumor that I've heard that I could actually believe. Bethesda may be doing everything they can to inflate their bottom line for a sale. Honestly, with and the reason you can do this is because it's a common tactic to just get as much money from your base as you can.
Yeah.
Screw PR and stuff. Like we just need to inflate all of our bottom line so we are more lucrative for whenever we decide to sell our company. That's honestly one of the only ones that makes sense to me because they can't not realize what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like if you look any direction, they're destroying themselves. They're absolutely even their dedicated core is like broadcasting that they're all leaving their game. And it's
Who
like
are they going to sell to?
I know
Mixer.
exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah, Mixer's buying right now.
They're
Jesus.
trying to get every single
Actually,
penny
they
out
already
of their
bought
player
Obsidian,
base right
so.
now.
Yeah.
So
And also,
I don't
like,
know.
what
Dude.
are they selling?
Yeah, let's talk
The
about the
Fallout
story a little
IP
bit. We
is
kind of jumped the gun there.
dead.
But so Fallout 76 last week, literally, I think the same fucking day that the Outer Worlds shipped, Bethesda announced that there's now a subscription program for Fallout 76. It's something like $100 a year or $15 a month.
Something like that.
It-
And here's what's even crazier. So
Man.
what the subscription service is and what they sold it as. Oh God, this is going to be bad. Let me just. Okay, here we go. So basically, what they did is the $100 a year service gives you a private server. It's not actually a private server at all. It's just your own instance. You can't even restrict who joins it. They can just join on you if they're friends. Gives you a private server. It gives you an infinite scrap box, which for the oh my God, that's fantastic. It gives you an infinite scrap box, which basically makes it so you get like it's honestly, it even hurts to talk about it. Like, I don't even know, man. He planned this. This is great. But anyway, here's the
I
deal.
was trying to find it. We'll talk about the goof later. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, so it gives an infinite scrap box, which is something that we were asking for from day one, and we were told verbatim we can't do that. It's not technically possible. That was their reasoning for not giving the scrap box at the beginning. We can't handle it on our servers. We cannot give this to you. And then they give a forward tent, which has been a suggestion for the game for like over half a year in the internal forums as a paid subscription item. And then they gave a bunch of bits to their cash store, which is already horribly overpriced. So it's not like a slap to the face. It's like they put their hand on your forehead to make sure your face doesn't go anywhere, and they just get like two or three good ones.
You forgot the best part. The best part of all of that was that people that bought this and got like the extra inventory space just had their inventory deleted because of a bug.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. So the scrap box on the first day,
Oh,
yeah,
no.
it is infinite scrap because it deletes everything you put in it. That's why it's infinite scrap. Saying
a black hole is infinite storage.
Yeah.
Like you can put anything you want in there. It's fine.
Man, what the?
Wait, so did you
and
see
the worst part? After all of this, they put a special icon next to the name of people who buy the subscription service, and other players are coming
class warfare
back to the game after they have quit just to hunt these people down and grief them using in-game mechanics that are not fixed yet.
There's an
Like,
entire
again,
class
you
warfare
can't make-
Twitter
That's
thread.
incredible. Why
So
is
like,
that
I
not?
would invest
Man.
money for this atrociously designed system. You then put a bullseye on your forehead to have your game experience ruined by other people. But it's
Oh my
okay. You have a
God.
private server to go to. So it's like, oh my God, dude.
That's
again,
so
fucking
funny.
hilarious, dude.
Jericho, what
phrase
were you gonna
I keep
say?
coming back with
I was
all
just
this,
gonna say that.
There's
Okay.
one phrase that I keep coming back with. You can't make this shit up.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
it's like everything they do for 76 is like a farce on the last thing they did, and it
Dude.
just keeps getting worse. It's like when the South Park guys said that they were going to stop writing about Trump because we can't do anything to top that crazy. It's like the same thing with Bethesda.
Dude.
Like you can't, it couldn't be worse.
It's
like,
like
even if they
Bethesda
tried.
and fucking Blizzard are just like, hold my beer, and then they just jump off a cliff and something crazy happens.
I mean,
It's
Chris
insane.
Avallone, who is a huge force in the writing in video games. He's writing in Dying Light 2. He made Planescape Torment and all that. Phenomenal dude. He tweets out the day of all this happening. He's like, by the way, big kudos to Obsidian. I'm not sure how you got Bethesda on board with your PR team, but this is just phenomenal. Like this timing, you could I don't know how much you bought, but this is great. Like kudos to you.
Man.
Oh man. Wow.
God. There's nothing else to be. I mean, it writes itself there. That's the story. It's fucking crazy. It's
Just sad at this
absolutely
point.
crazy.
It's just sad to see the Fallout franchise become this. Especially for long-term Fallout. I've been a Fallout fan for 20 years, man, since Fallout 1, and to have it be here is I go disappointed dad mode on Bethesda. Just like, what do you got? Like, come on, man. Like people trusted you with this IP. Like you were supposed to make something of this, and this is just it's worse than trash.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's like that kid who gets freshman and sophomore year in high school, getting straight A's, falls in with a bad crowd, starts doing drugs, is getting C's and D's, and you're just like, you're better than this, man. You were better than
Let's not
this.
give drugs a bad
then-
name.
and
Fallout
then-
got into
Fair point.
Fallout
Fair point,
did
Jericho.
something
You're right.
crazier.
Oh
Can't really argue with that. But at the same vein, it's kind of like not only are they using drugs, it's like now they're selling drugs and they're going, yeah, well, I mean, we could go to school, but I mean, we're making so good money doing this. Like I'll just keep pushing this shit if you follow me.
man,
You know, just oh man.
it's a mess. It's a fucking mess.
Oof.
Yeah. So
Awful.
Outer Worlds is great for $1. You should maybe check it out if you like.
Yeah,
Fallout.
yeah. You can get Outer Worlds for you and 15 friends for the cost of 1 month of Fallout 76.
Oh
That
god.
should be their advertising.
Yeah, that should be their ad.
God
Fucking hell.
damn.
Fucking
Oh
hell.
man.
Hey, Jericho, did you commit any war crimes lately?
Oh, I committed. There was a war crime counter. I committed 5 technical war crimes playing Call of Duty.
You want to see my
Not
war crime?
intentionally.
Watch
Yeah, let's
this
see
and the
it.
immediate just shock
I-
of this woman going for her baby and me just doming the fuck out of her. And I just didn't know. I feel so bad.
Oh,
man.
you laugh
I laughed
you
afterwards because
fucking-
what do you do with
what
that
do you
situation,
do?
man?
And he goes and picks the baby up out of the dead. So
Yeah.
I did
fucked
not
up, man.
kill. I only killed. My war crime was I killed somebody who was in a gurney because I thought they might be a terrorist, which later in the mission you do
Yeah.
have to, you know.
The game
So,
fucks with you, man. It makes you commit.
all right, let me separate. Let's break down the Call of Duty talk
Let's do
into
it.
2 things. All right, we're gonna do single player first because I sincerely believe from the start of the announcement, like all of the press pool stuff that I was going to, all of the multiplayer like reveals that I was going to through, the only thing in my head was this game mechanically plays very well for a story mode that is about tactical shooting, like the way
Yeah.
that the mechanics that they introduced with like slowly opening doors and the new engine that it's running on. I was excited for this since I heard about it. Now, I also grew up playing Call of Duty. It's where I got my start, so I am a little biased, but I also fucking hated the last couple games. This campaign was one of the most disturbing, enjoyable, uncomfortable,
Yeah.
beautiful,
I agree.
fun
Everything.
campaigns that I have played in a long time. If you ever play like Spec Ops The Line, that one was another great campaign, and this one does it fantastic. I played like RTX on, made this game look nuts.
It's drop dead gorgeous. It's
and
it's great.
it is without a doubt my favorite Call of Duty campaign ever, and that goes even against all the nostalgia that I have for like Call of Duty 4 and World at War and in general. So that aside, the reason this game is so wild is because like it really doesn't shy away from making you feel awful. Like there are so many instances that not to go into spoilers, but instances with kids very with like snap decisions that you have to make as a player that they try and do a good job of like mimicking a real world situation. JP thought that woman was going to go grab an AK because in some of the other rooms,
They
like
did.
you'd breach in and this woman, like you'd shoot 2 or 3 people and then the woman would like be crying and then she'd get up and I'd just be saying out loud, like, please don't get it. Please don't grab that gun. She'd run and grab it and you have to kill them. And it's just
It's fucked,
awful
man.
because they for the first time, I think they really tried to make you realize the difficulty with making decisions in a high stress environment. I know we're playing a video game, but they try and do it in a way that's going to make you mess up. And, you know, there's several instances that I felt just fucking awful playing this game. I mean, whether I got somebody killed or, you know, whatever, but, like on the other side, let's not make it seem like it's not a Call of Duty game. There are a lot of like pro US, pro NATO, pro, you know, EU stuff, and Russians hate this game because it is very much Russia terrible, US not as bad, but that is Call of Duty. So I think you should kind of go in with a grain of salt there. And then the story was like, the writing was okay. It was pretty good. It was above average for like a Call of Duty game, but that's not why you're going to play it. It was intense. It was difficult. And this mission particularly was one of the ones that I just like
See,
she's got
she gets a fucking
look
gun.
at that.
She
She
gets
gets a gun. You just fucking saved her life, and you're like, thank God I didn't shoot this lady. And then she goes and tries to fucking kill you,
Yeah.
and you're like, what the hell is going on? It's I don't know. And like this too. JP, you played on normal, right?
Yeah, I was playing normal. I'm sure that one shots you on hard.
It does. I died, and like I listened to the call out. The guy I could hear him, and he was like, "Get the shotgun, go into the bathroom." Like you're walking upstairs, very muffled audio, and I was like, "There's gonna be a guy in the bathroom." So I like shot through that bathroom door, and then got blasted through it, and I died. And I was like, "Fuck!" Like yeah, I should have listened better. I should have like baited him out or something like that.
Yeah.
So this campaign, if you have the game, I think is one that is important to play because they don't really like it's about as gnarly as you could get for like a publicly AAA released game. And like your mate just dies there.
Yeah,
he
just gets fucking
destroyed.
killed. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's literal propaganda. If you would like to call it that, that's fine. But I don't think this takes away from how interesting and uncomfortable I felt in some of the parts of this game. I mean, it's up to you to decide whether or not you want to go through with that, but I liked it a lot.
Yeah. There were multiple times when I was playing this where I thought like, how is this Call of Duty? This is actually like a unbelievably good single player FPS. And I multiple times like, this is not Call of Duty. There's no way this is the game that if I go play multiplayer, I'm just going to hear a billion racist remarks because I'm bad at shooting. Like, how is this the same fucking thing? It's crazy.
Yeah. I haven't played the Spec Ops, which is the co-op version of this. I don't know yet, so I'm gonna play this weekend. I heard it's difficult. It's probably buggy. The cutscenes in this somehow were bugged, so like the audio would get delayed. Yeah, on the PC, which I thought was pretty inexcusable. But like it was movie quality animation in cutscenes that worked, and hopefully if they fix that, like I can't say enough. And I was the front runner of stop making campaigns. It's a waste of your time and money. Please make the multiplayer experience better. But they nailed it. I would play this again a second time, and that's rare for me.
Yeah. It's the type of like $60. I really want people to play this because it's such a fun's a weird word to use. It's such a interesting single player. But it is $60
about 6
entry.
to 8 hours.
Yeah, 6 to 8 hours. So, $60 entry, which is like shit.
And let's not pretend like if you don't like Call of Duty, you're probably not going to like this. This game does cater a lot towards Battlefield and Call of Duty players. It is a Call of Duty game at heart. I mean, some of the multiplayer modes and stuff. I think it's more accessible.
Multiplayer,
I don't want to say. Yeah, I think it's more accessible towards those that don't traditionally like a Call of Duty game. But you're not spending $60 on this if you're not already involved, like interested. Like you're just not going to do that. So don't come out of here and say, you know, if they made campaign a standalone for $15, I would probably go out of my way and say, yeah, that's a worthwhile purchase, which is something I would never have said prior to this game.
Yeah, I echo everything you said about the single player. I didn't touch a second of the multiplayer. I'll go a little bit further in the single player and say like some of the stuff they do is like child soldier shit. There's a waterboarding scene where they like gamify waterboarding and you're being waterboarded and have to like live. And so that's really
you have to not pass out
or not pass out. Yeah. It's really crazy. And then there's one scene where a guy, I'm not going to say who, they basically say like, do you want to be in this room or not? And you can say no. And I don't know what happens. I said yes. I walked in the room. And it's like a terrorist, and they bring in the wife and kid, and they hand you a gun and say, what do you want to do? You got to get this guy to talk. And it immediately brought back thoughts of like the GTA Trevor bullshit, where the torture scene with that. And it was like worse than that. Because it's like, do you want to kill these guys? Like, we need this information. This is what you wanted to do. You said you were a part of this crew. And so I just fired a shot at the wall to like see what would happen. And he ended up giving me the information. I fully think that you could just kill the people and they would also give you information.
You can do whatever you want in that room. I've watched other playthroughs of it and the reaction to the characters and like, especially the ones that you're involved with, is pretty upsetting. The one like where you shot the mother, but not the baby, you can shoot that baby, but if you do, the game kicks you to the menu, or kicks you back to the menu, and it literally says, "Are you kidding?" Like, or "Are you serious?"
Jesus.
And I was like, "All right," like they allow you to do it, but they're like, I just think it was a surprisingly real response from a developer that traditionally does not errs on the side of caution.
Right.
And I'm pleasantly surprised, to say the least. And there were good callbacks, since this is a reboot, not a remake. There's specific callback lines to like old Call of Duties, like your fruit killing skills are remarkable.
Yeah.
I as a
lot of
longtime
characters
fan
as
really
well.
appreciated that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the end kind of has a bunch of character reveals that if you play the other
Right.
Call of Duty campaigns, it's cool.
Yeah.
I can just imagine JP being like, "Look, the baby went for a gun. Okay, I don't."
Man, it's there so far. When did I play this? I think I played this
Couple
Monday.
days ago.
Yeah, I guess Monday. I've woken up every day and thought about that sequence because of how like impactful. Because you're unbelievably tense the entire time you're walking through this place with night vision goggles, and then you
It's
just
quiet. Yeah.
it's quiet and like
And then you make a mistake.
you just hear you just fire off one bullet, and it kills like an innocent woman, and you're just like,
It had some, there's like 3 or 4 more moments like that. I hope that I don't think this is how like Treyarch, the other developers, there's a 3 developer cycle, by the way. Actually, they might have knocked it down to 2. I don't
not
think
sure,
Treyarch's
yeah.
going to do this, but they set it up for a good sequel. Hopefully they reimagine Modern Warfare 2, and hopefully they continue with this. Can't say enough about single player. It's multiplayer Call of Duty. It plays differently. I don't really want to beat a dead horse because I don't think a lot of people care that much about it.
yeah, I mean, the
I
people
like
that
it
do
a
are
lot.
not necessarily the ones that watch talk shows on Twitch. They're
Right,
in
exactly.
school right now.
Yeah, so I like it. It's fun. There's a lot of frustrating multiplayer mechanics. The success of this multiplayer game falls down to the developer's decision to listen to feedback and weigh it against their decision to have a game that plays inherently different than traditional Call of Duties. Still run and gun, just a little bit more campy and tactical. So I'm going to say you can make your own judgment for it.
Cool.
It's Call of Duty single player, but Battle Royale in this would be incredible. And there's rumors that they're going to put it out as a free standalone thing. And if they do it with this game engine, I think this has a very real opportunity to be a good addition to an already, in my opinion, top 3 Call of Duty experience.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts.
Cool. Yeah, single player, to go back to it, like transitions were great. In terms of how you get into the missions, it's like very fluid, which I hadn't really experienced before. It was multiple times I thought, like I said, I can't believe this is a Call of Duty campaign. It was, from my interest, like the best FPS I've played since Doom.
Right.
It was just, there's so many moments in it where I constantly think back and like think, fuck. It did the same shock value that like I guess the original Modern Warfare did.
Yeah, like the nuke scene and stuff. I just think they did it better and executed better, and they really like the first 2 missions. I guess I'll call them missions. Like I had to sit back and I was like, well, it's kind of fucked up. Honestly, guys, I wasn't really ready for that. It's been 15 minutes and I'm uncomfortable. Like very uncomfortable.
The game opens up and you're in a van, or the camera's in a van, and it's like going around to a bunch of soldiers, and then it centers on someone wearing a suicide vest, and the back of the van opens up. He walks out into the plaza and detonates, and it just says Modern Warfare, and that's how the game begins.
And I was like, okay, fuck, man. Like, all right, I guess we're going down that road. And yeah, I can see how. Yeah, I'm.
Yeah, and they do
like
a bunch of
I said,
other stuff. Like there's you can go find a billion different boards right now where they talk about how they kind of rewrote history with the highway of death that they claimed in this game Russia was responsible for, but in actuality, the U.S. is the reason that exists, and so a bunch of people are upset over that. I'm not going to take a side on it one way or the other. So
yeah, there's a lot of like I said, like Call of Duty is inherently a little bit of it's a propaganda machine for single player. It is America first type things. So like the allies you're hurting, or I mean you're helping, I believe, are like supposed to be synonymous with like the Kurdish, resistance fighters and stuff. So it's like if that doesn't bother you, then go for it. But if that's something that's going to bother you, then don't play it seriously. And it's the UN, I think, not the US, that were responsible for that.
Yeah, I know I'd get it messed up. For a game that they were out there saying it's not political,
It's very political,
What the
but it's always
fuck
gonna
game
be.
did you make and play? Because
Yeah,
this
what
game's
the fuck?
unbelievably
If
political.
you're going to rewrite facts about who started, like who did a murder spree, like
Yeah.
that's pretty political.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
That's the definition of political. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
one of the
I-
definitions. Yeah.
And on the other side of things, like I would hope that people that are playing this are cognizant that this is a video game and not a history simulator. That said, that's never going to be the case for a vast majority of these people, right? So, like, I never at any point, I took everything as face value. I never at any point was like, this is something that happened factually. Like, you should always do your own research when you're playing a game like this.
Right,
If you're
right.
moved in one way or the other, like, it's a video game. It is not a statement of history.
Right. If anything, like that didn't bother me so much. It was the idea that
No, it
like
didn't bother me at all.
these are real like people do this type of shit into a house and they see a lady running for something and they have to make a judgment call. That's fucking terrifying because I made the wrong call and
I made so many wrong, like literally war crimes I'm committing.
Yeah.
I got to admit, the thing that doesn't kind of like, I know this is pretty off base and probably not how most people think, and I am a gamer, so you know that's to be said. But like hearing kind of the way that like the idea that a mother has a gun pointed at her and she knows she's probably going to die, but her motherly instinct forces her to go for a weapon to protect her child. We then shoot that person in a video game, and that's entertainment for us.
Right.
Right, but
mean-
also, like, I think entertainment is a broad word. There are parts of this that I was not having fun, right? Just like I'm not
It's
like
a sense
if you
of
watch,
uncomfortable. Yeah.
if it's, I get where you're coming from, but it's way too black and white to say it's entertainment and be like, Tucker, did you enjoy the campaign?
But,
Well,
like,
yeah,
that's the
but
thing.
like,
Do you think this game is being sold as something to entertain gamers, or do you think it's being sold as something that makes a serious, hard look at the realities of war? Like how is
yes, why
the thing
can't
I'm
it be
wondering is
both?
when this kind of, well, I mean, maybe it can,
I think
but
it is
like,
both,
do you
yeah.
think the reason that it was put in for that, or do you think the reason that it was put in is so it would shock us so much that we talk about it and get the game more PR? Like that's the stuff that makes me kind of.
Sure.
It's a fine. I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer. I'm just saying that as it's like it's this really weird fine line they're walking, and it's
Right.
one thing to kind of like be like, wow, this is a really serious situation. It's really impactful on me. And then there's another way to look at it where it's like this is like a marketing gimmick that our entertainment is being packaged in a way to just elicit that. You know what? I don't even know where I'm going with this.
I just
Never
feel
mind.
like you
It-
could
it-
make
it-
that
it-
argument with
it makes me
literally
feel
anything,
weird.
including books or movies. Like that.
Yeah.
Like there's
I kinda
any
agree with that.
content that is being made that you are paying money for or engaging in, you can make this exact same argument. So I don't think it's fair to make that like that analogy with Call of Duty specifically. But you're not
Yes,
wrong.
to
It
be
also
fair,
doesn't
it's
matter.
not just Call of Duty. I mean, I've recently played some horror games where it's like some of the
Super
stuff
Like,
fucked
do you
up,
enjoy
yeah.
cutting somebody's dick off, Co?
Yeah.
exactly,
Like,
Outlast
exactly
2 sure
right.
does.
You know, it's the kind
Yeah.
of thing. I didn't really mean it like as somebody who hasn't played this game yet. And I was thinking from the perspective of somebody who doesn't play games to kind of like listen to our conversation. It's an interesting thing to think about. But again, I didn't really have a point with anything I was going. I didn't mean to like. It's just it's
It's
strange.
very. I
Very
agree with.
strange line.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, to that point, Code, there were multiple people that were like U.S. veterans in my chat that said they could not watch because it was triggering PTSD. Like it knows exactly what the fuck it's doing. And
Maybe it is trying to do that, like for the real purpose of discouraging that type of action in real life. It's showing you how terrible it can be, specifically to be like, look, it's terrible. Don't romanticize this. Like this is horrible stuff. You're
This
seeing how horrible
was-
it is.
Less
You know, so, I mean, there's-
romanticizing than any of the other multiplayer. Like, I mean, it was actually jarring when one of the mission, I think it's this mission, is the first mission you play as like a General Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And you go in and literally the first thing is like the Marines going like, hoorah, boy. Like it was so American compared to the mission before. It was like resistance fighters and like it's very uncomfortable, the situations you're going through. And I remember saying, I was like, well, this is a change of pace. Like this doesn't feel like fun in the sense that like I don't know, it doesn't it didn't romanticize it nearly as much as any of the other like Battlefield games that I played or whatever. Like it's just it's an interesting thought process, but art is art. I think you can make that comparison to anything.
Yeah, engaging I think is a word that I'll steal from chat. Like this game was everything.
Engaging, yeah.
When it came to like having your interest only because of the shit that was happening on screen, kind of like shock value was very high the entire time.
Yes.
And to say I had fun with it is a weird word. Again, I'll say that a second time, but like I definitely think that it's worth playing if you can like stomach that type of shit.
I agree too.
I like the word provocative.
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
Sure,
honestly,
provocative is good.
I think that's a perfect thing because right here, like it provoked many different feelings just from this panel of the exact same thing. It's like JP was like, man, like laughing at the absurdity of it, which it is, and that's absolutely absurd. Jericho taking a more like gamer centric stance of it. I was kind of like, like it's interesting how we can all get completely different things from like the same kind of displayed event.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's wild, man. It's wild. It's wild to think, from somebody. I mean, we've all been doing this for so many years now. To think like gaming is to this point, it's so crazy to think about. I may have to play this even if I don't play it online. I may have to play it offline.
It's worth it.
See where the bar is now.
Yeah.
If you have it, I think it's important. I tweet as like I think it's important, even if it takes you a couple days to play it, and I think it's important to play it. And if it's not for you or you hate it or whatever the reason, like it's at the end of the day, it's something you can choose not to play or you can stop playing. It's a video game. You can do that. Just like you can stop reading a book or stop watching a movie. It's up to you. At the end of the day, I said that 400 times at the end of the day, but it's up to you. You can do that.
Right.
At the end of the day, it is the end.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day,
the day ends.
So it's what 6 to 8 hours.
Something like you could do it in a stream.
6 to 8 hours.
You could play it in one stream. Yeah. I will also say in the single player aspect, apart from like the actual how the game ran, the engine, and all that stuff, it's gorgeous. There was a couple of hiccups that Jericho was saying. The audio in this game, for whatever reason, is like some of the best audio I've heard when it comes to guns.
Like sound design?
Yeah, I've been around a decent amount of guns in my life. Some of these guns are eerily like it is. You shoot the gun and you think like, fuck, like I actually have a powerful thing here. It's not like a normal gun in another FPS where you're just holding down the fucking trigger and like watching 1,000 bullets spray out. Like it's crazy how powerful it is.
During the event press pool that I went to, they took a long segment about how they thought that the audio engine they basically remade the entire audio engine, and I think they used some term like ambient occlusion, but for audio.
Yeah,
like they stripped down and they showed us every single individual way that like a weapon could be used in different areas, and like the bullet shell casings make different sounds when they hit the ground on dirt versus
it was
this,
so
like,
impressive.
It's if you do play, definitely play with like a good pair of headphones because it just adds to the experience a lot.
Yeah.
They nailed it for sound design, and that's like something that everybody agrees on.
Also, a fun part of this level, you're going through a hospital and the enemies lie as if they're dead people on top of gurneys and then shoot you as you walk by. That was also just
and then with civilians.
I walked by dead bodies.
There's civilians in there.
Yeah, and there's civilians as well. So like I would walk by a body and sit there and aim the gun and see if they were gonna move or see if there was a gun near them. And sometimes I would just if they looked like they had like bullet straps on them, well, better safe than sorry, and I'd take the shot.
He's like, I have my gun in my left hand and my decoy gun in my right hand. But then I toss my decoy gun and I wait.
Yeah.
I wait.
It was crazy. Like, and I've watched people go through there that have maybe more restraint than I do with shooting the bodies, and they would die. Like the mobs would, the enemies would kill them. Not saying that's any right way, but it makes you question that shit. Like when a game designed around shooting guns makes you question if you should shoot that gun. I think that's a pretty interesting thing. So
I'd be interested if you do play it. If you do play it, Co, I'd love to hear your overall take on it.
So would I.
Maybe if you,
I think Zeke as well.
I'm just curious.
Yeah. I think both of you would.
I'll say this: like you guys, like Jericho and JP, you totally sold me on the single player campaign because I relish anytime a game makes me question morals, scares me, makes me love somebody, makes me cry. Like if it has like that much of an impact, I relished those moments. And not to go back to Outer Worlds, but the Outer Worlds, like, that's why it's kind of just an average good game to me, because it doesn't have those moments. Or like, to me, for me personally, if I have to say it's my fucking opinion, I shouldn't have to, but but like, I love those types of games that elicit a deep emotional response. And you like $60 though, because I'm not going to play the multiplayer. We all know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little steep.
But $60 for what,
It's
8
a lot
hours?
steep. 6 to 8 hours. Yeah. You'd probably get
Yeah,
maybe
that's
10 out of it, Zeke, knowing
I mean,
If you really
since I'm a streamer, it's probably worth it. But like, still, that's a lot.
it's a lot.
I would
yeah.
never recommend it a $60 single player for 6 to 8 hours. Like, that's just I can't do it. So but
very
I
hard
mean,
to
if
recommend
Spec
that way.
Ops is fun, then you get additional content there. But who knows?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could rent it on Redbox.
Yeah,
for
go to
console.
Redbox, Zeke, rent it. Can you-
Shit, son.
I never actually considered that. I guess you could just rent games and stream them, couldn't you? Huh.
Shit, I've been doing this already.
Yeah, I've been doing fucking light bulbs just went off in my head. Huh.
Mm.
Well, that's anyways. Co, I'm only gonna spend 30 seconds on this because it is relevant to you. And I guess Zeke as well, although I'm not sure if you finished it. The Nier Automata raid came out yesterday in Final Fantasy XIV. I don't think you should play Final Fantasy XIV Co, but if you do, it's pretty fucking cool, man. They
Perfect.
2P is in the game, which is Yokotaro said that this is all canon in the Nier world. This all really happened in the Nier universe. So yeah, the final boss is Nines. The music is godlike. They redid a bunch of the music from Nier itself and put it into the game. The final boss of the dungeon is one of these guys right here. You're fighting the giant thing from the first dungeon.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
It's fucking, man, it's really cool.
Oh, that's fun, dude.
It's really fucking good. They do a bunch of fourth wall breaking shit in the quest where like the quest dialogue is, you get the option to respond, and one of the responses like, I'm just going to shake my head in the affirmative anyways, so what does it matter? And you would just click that and it's like, man, this is really good. Like they very much near Automata this, so it's really good. I had a lot of fun. Also, you get to be the 2B transmog, which looks really ridiculous. They did all the armor for
I
that
heard it
stuff.
does wondrous things to your posterior.
Yeah, apparently it gives you a bigger ass.
Perfect.
So
I might play it.
yeah, my Vieira, my bunny girl now has a much bigger ass in a thong, thanks to the lovely gear from the Nier
God
raid.
bless.
Is
That
it
too
wet
butt.
though?
Is it what though, Zeke?
Does it get wet though? Because that was like
Oh,
the pinnacle of gaming keisters that I'd ever seen. Was 2B's wet butt cheeks, like chef's kiss. Perfect.
I have not tried to go near water. I will go swimming.
Please go
let you know.
swimming immediately after. Report
Yeah,
back.
I'll let you know. They even go as far, you get like a data collection thing after the fact, but when you open the data collection, the bang alerts that's not in the game. When you do the data collection thing, it like has the exact UI elements from Nier Automata like open up on your screen, which
cool.
is really cool to see. So
We love a good callback.
yeah, there's Nines in Final Fantasy 14. Fucking
Damn. Look at that.
what a fucking weird thing. What a fucking strange thing. Zeke, I left you with about 9 minutes for your greatest hits. Of ending. We could
Let's
also
just
just
talk
save
about-
them.
Let's
Yeah.
just talk about Little Misfortune.
Okay, yeah. I think we talked about your
did we talk
impressions
about
of that, but we haven't talked about Co's impressions of it. 'Cause Co played it before Outer Worlds, I believe, and we didn't do a show last week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you enjoy your time with what Little Misfortunes? What's the name?
Little Misfortune.
Yeah. How is that?
Yeah.
What is that? A horror game?
No, not really. It's more of a there's games every so often that I play, and when I'm done with them, I tell myself, that wasn't really like fun in the traditional sense. It was
I
more
looked
of what
at
I
this
call
one. Yeah.
an experience.
Okay.
And I
cool.
feel like
I was
Little
looking at this.
Misfortune, yeah, Little Misfortune kind of is an experience. It's like I told Zeke, it's not the game that I'd recommend for everyone, but
Oh, that was
if
Zeke.
if I think the
I was like,
person
what?
would enjoy a game like this, then I would like tell them they have to play it. It's got it is, to be fair, it is very funny. There is some wildly funny dialogue. The main character is very likable. It does some very interesting things in terms of how it displays the game to you. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like it's a story. It's a story that is being told to you with some very light like action elements, like some little mini games, and there's a few decisions here and there, but it is at heart a story of this girl. And honestly, it's the kind of thing where I don't want to say too much more than that. I understand when Zeke talked about this game a little bit. It's the kind of thing where you just kind of need to experience it. You kind of need to play through it. It is dark humor.
Game as art kind of a thing, like Gris, however you want to pronounce
Greece,
it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, Greece. That's right. But yeah, it's a small amount of times like sync experience, like 4 or 5, 6 hours, whatever. But it's less focused on gameplay and more focused on how you feel while you're playing it.
Huh. Okay. I think this looks super interesting. Like I like the art style a lot, and I've been really trying to play a lot of horror games now. And this just looks interesting. Well, it is the season, but also just like I think that I stayed away from them for so long because I'm a giant bitch. But like this game looks pretty interesting at the very least. Like whatever's going on here, I don't know.
There's some dark humor, and it's really good.
Good. Okay. Cool. I think I'll probably play it.
Yes, this game is very much a dark humor story. But at the same time, it's good. Like there's some really interesting things that happen in that game. Some things that definitely make you kind of like feel and think things that you never expect to when you're playing a game. I'd say actually similar to some ways of it, as you guys were talking about COD earlier. Like there's even some moments where it's kind of just like, oh, holy shit, what did she just say?
Right.
And so yeah, and outside of that, again, I don't want to go too much into it, but if anything I just said even sounds slightly your jam, definitely check it out.
Cool.
And it's not a big. It's like it took me like 4 hours, and I got all of the sparklies. You'll know right away what that means. But I got all the sparklies, and it took me like 4 hours. So
cool. Okay.
Yep, I was actually like right under that. I think it's about the same. Got all of them as well. Oh, important thing to mention also. This game it's not a sequel from what I understand, but it is related to a game called Franbo. So from what I understand, if you want to get like the whole experience, you want to do Franbo first, because there are some things in Little Misfortune. I walked through like a particular area, and people were like, oh, it's Franbo, and I was sitting here like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So you may want to check that game out first if you're gonna play this.
All right.
Yeah, I had no idea that I had heard of Franbo, and I never played it before playing this one. But like after playing this one, it kind of made me want to go back and check out Franbo.
Cool.
I'm not sure how long that experience is, but it'll definitely be like one of those like, oh, there's a lull in games, or I have a day to, kill.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. We'll fill these final minutes then with some random tidbits of news. Death Stranding is coming to PC next summer. Is that going to stop anyone from playing it?
No.
Everyone's going to play on PS4? Yeah. Zeke, is that going to stop you?
The way
you didn't answer yet, so
I'm gonna play it offline.
Okay.
Ooh.
On PS4?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What were we gonna say, Co?
I'm so excited for that thing.
I have a new system for this now. Whenever a game comes out on console first,
they want to double
and then
dip.
they double dip later with PC. My new system is I'm pretty much always going to play it on console first, and then if I feel the game is good enough, I'll get it on PC.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing with Red Dead.
That's about where I'm at. With
where
Red
I
Dead.
am like these days. It's the kind of thing where I'm not going to cater to these companies doing this double dip shit. Like especially when they've had years and years to develop their game, and they're obviously just doing it trying to get people to buy 2 copies. So I'll buy it on the console first, and then if it's good enough, I'll look about picking that up the second one. I don't even know if I'm going to get RDR2 on PC. Like
I just want to see what it looks like.
I want to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
You know what? I was going to do that too, and then I realized, you know what? If I wanted to see this game played on PC, I have a resource for that.
Yeah, but it's
it's more like for me.
Yeah.
I'm looking at mods and role playing and stuff like GTA RP exists because of the PC version of GTA, right? So I'm looking at this more along the lines of maybe I only touch the single player a little bit, but if they build out, a modding system like that, then that opens up a whole world of content possibilities for me.
Yeah.
Although also, fuck you, man. I can't believe at least I'm only buying it twice versus I bought it 4 times on like
GTA?
Xbox 360 and Xbox
Oh,
One
yeah.
and then PC.
Fuck
You know what I mean?
God,
Like,
yeah. I think I bought 4
I
times
totally
on GTA
I see
5.
where you're coming from with that. If enough interesting stuff pops up, just like you're saying, like I would probably, if there were enough cool mods and stuff like that, like that's one thing. But I'm definitely waiting to see. I'm not really too big into the multiplayer aspects of the games anyway. So yeah, we'll see where it goes.
fair.
We'll see how it
Yeah,
goes.
same with Death Stranding. Like if it comes out on console and it looks about as good as it's going to look and it runs decently, and like if there's not some big, really good reason to check it out on PC, unless the game is phenomenal, which it might be. Maybe it'll warrant being bought twice. I mean, hell, Monster
I
Hunter
don't
World.
know.
I mean, I had a good time in Monster Hunter World on console and PC, and I'm playing it when it comes out on PC next year. So if the game's good enough, double dip, fine, whatever, you earned it. But yeah, I think I'm just done waiting.
Yeah,
I
same
hate
here.
Yeah.
Same here. I don't want to wait. What else? We haven't talked about it because we didn't do a show last week. Last of Us was delayed, which I think everyone here with a resounding cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's.
The best release date
Yeah.
for any game is when it's done. No other release date trumps when it's done. Doesn't matter if
Yeah.
it's earlier. Doesn't matter if it's a year later. Doesn't matter. Give us the game when it's done.
Yeah. And then last but not least, BlizzCon is in 2 days. It's happening on Friday.
What are your plans for BlizzCon?
This might be the
guys?
first one I go to.
You're just gonna divert the drive
I've
down,
got
take
this
your
great
U-Haul.
hashtag free Hong Kong. Where is it?
Yeah, man. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. I cannot wait to watch, but in typical Blizzard fashion, they're not, at least I tried reaching out and I haven't gotten clearance to like stream the opening stream. So it's going to be that whole thing on Friday where all the streamers are like, do I stream it? Do I not? Then someone's going to get DMCA'd and then the rest of the Twitch is just going to be us like full screened on a camera staring at the screen while we watch the BlizzCon opening. I think it's just the type of thing where I have to see what that looks like and the stuff that they have said leaked or leaked themselves, whatever plan you want to go with there.
Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4.
Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4. More curious about Diablo 4, but if Overwatch 2 does have like some sort of Destiny style element to it that these rumors are saying, I might check that out.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll give it a little peek, a little look.
Yeah. And then we've got Diablo 4 this weekend at BlizzCon, probably, if the rumors are to be believed. And then I think 2 weeks from now, we got ExileCon with Path of Exile out there announcing 3.9 and what 4.0 is. So having those so close to each other. Yeah, having those next to each other is going to be really cool.
Also, it's such a nice change of pace. Like companies like Blizzard, like you were just talking about, like nobody knows about streaming it. Very tight-lipped, very risky, sketchy. Nobody knows. Meanwhile, GDG is up there like, come stream our thing. Like, come on, everyone's streaming.
Yeah,
Just restream all you want. Like, watch it with your friends. Don't watch it with us.
I mean,
it's so nice to have that kind of thing.
I mean, to be fair, I will say Blizzard's kind of dealing with a lot right now. So responding to a random streamer about privilege to stream their opening ceremony might not be on the top of their list. But
oh, I just realized, what would they do if people restreamed the BlizzCon thing wearing like one of the shirts they didn't want or something?
yeah, I was thinking about bringing out my Winnie the Pooh cosplay. So
Oh,
Bro,
with fire, huh?
That's not a Blizzard thing. That's gonna get you banned in China.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to like a big part of me wants to be like, welcome to the Blizzard opening ceremony, and it's just like the Olympics, like everybody like in sync on drums and
Yeah,
shit like that.
man.
Like it's just that. I would fucking die. It'd be great.
yeah. There's so many different. Like I've read so many different opinions on how they're going to handle and address all of that. In the sense of like, do they bring out a big celebrity so you forget the fact that it's Blizzard? Do they come out and say like, sorry, we fucked up. Here's Diablo 4.
I heard a rumor that they shut down like all public Q&A and any audience-facing cameras and stuff. Is that true, or was that just a
I don't
rumor?
know.
That's what I would bet. I would bet they're not even gonna let it happen
Yeah.
I
ever
heard that they were
again.
even
You know
like
what I mean?
cutting down the cameras like over the crowds thing. Like they
Yeah, I
want,
wouldn't
be
if
surprised.
you're not a paid employee of Blizzard, like you are not being on camera at Blizzard.
I don't know. I've not seen any confirmations of that or seen that myself, but yeah, I would believe that. It's not to say I bet you someone rushes the fucking stage. Like, I have no idea what to expect on Friday. It is literally the type of
Okay.
thing where I'm going into it and just thinking like, I don't know what is going to be on this stream. I honestly have
Okay,
no idea.
maybe that was just a rumor. I'm seeing a lot of people in chat saying that'd be nice, but I don't. Maybe that was just a rumor. Okay, I'll look into that more.
Yeah, I think most of everything that's out there is rumor. And it also kind of sucks because I think a lot of those leaks, like it starts to paint a picture of what the game looks like. And this is a whole nother conversation, but it starts to
Right.
paint a picture of what the game looks like. And for the people that have worked on it, that to go in there with preconceived notions and maybe they don't follow up on like anything, to just think that that becomes fact sucks. But if they put it out there themselves, then they shot themselves in the foot. So who knows? We'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. I'm very excited to see what that
Real
looks like
quick.
on Friday.
Did you just say the date of ExileCon?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
the
2
14th
weeks.
of November.
Yeah, 14th. Is that the same weekend as the
14th.
Xbox thing? I think
Oh,
it's the
I'm
11th.
sorry. I thought we were talking about.
I think it's
No,
November
so-
the 11th.
Star Wars is the 16th.
Oh God, now we're getting into calendars. Maybe that sounds right.
Okay, I'm just trying to like line up dates and stuff here. Okay, cool.
Star Wars, by the way, that trailer that came out yesterday looked really good.
Oh, 15th. Oh
yeah,
God.
so that's 2 Fridays from now.
Oh,
So you got to beat
no.
Death Stranding within a week, and then you play Star Wars.
Yeah, don't make me choose between ExileCon and Star Wars, man. That would not be fun.
Well, ExileCon happens at 5 p.m. Eastern for us, Co. I think. I think it's 5 p.m. Eastern. It might be 5 a.m. Hold on, I can verify real quick.
Oh, wow.
And tell you.
Okay.
I 1 second. It is.
Maybe I'll want to do that.
5 p.m. Friday the 16th. 5 p.m. Eastern on the 16th. Though that might be wrong with because I think daylight savings is changing over soon. So, yeah, it's 2 weeks after. 2 weeks from now. We'll see how it goes. I don't know what's going to look like. And then last but not least, Steam's going to have EA on it, and that's a big thing. So,
Yay.
Cool.
let's do some shout outs. Call it a show. Zeke, we'll start with you. Good luck on your move.
Okay.
This is the second time I've told you good luck, so maybe it actually will be good luck. I don't know. Do some shout outs for us.
It's a nice day today. I hope it stays till tomorrow.
Hey, it
I
never
tried.
snows in Denver, all right? Weatherman Max, let me know
Never.
that. Never snows in
Yep.
Denver. Yeah,
I
ever.
heard about that.
Do some shout outs.
What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to Jericho for being our guest today. Thank you to Co and JP for being my co-host every week. If you want to find me, you can find me at or slash Ezekiel_III. That's on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. I'm moving tomorrow, but hopefully
Ooh.
I will have enough of a bare bones setup to be streaming on Friday at noon Pacific time, just like always. What am I doing on Friday? Well, I'm going to finish. We didn't even talk about the Somnium Files. I'm going to finish up the Somnium Files, the Somnium Files. I've gotten like one of the endings, but I've got like many more endings to go. So if you want to see like the whole story come together, that'd be a good day to tune in. But don't forget, in a little less than an hour from now, I will be on twitch.tv/tablestory for our role-playing game called Nocturne, tabletop role-playing game. It is a wonderful thing, and it's also possibly, maybe, like the last episode for this story arc. So we might not be done with the entire thing, but today's going to have like a nice climax cultivation of all the sorts of stuff that we've been building up to. So that's in an hour, twitch.tv/tablestory. But if you want to catch me, I will be on my own channel on Friday at noon. So, that's all.
Awesome stuff. Co, do some shout outs for us.
For sure. As always, big thank you to JP and Zeke. Special thank you to Better Co for being here this week. That badge is pretty official. I like it. As always, thank you all so much for watching. My name is Co. If I don't know you, hi. Going to be finishing up Long Dark episode 3 tomorrow, which has been awesome. Didn't get a chance to talk about that today. Maybe next week. And also, let's see, Visage tomorrow night. Then we got Scary Games this weekend. Possibly the start of our second Outer Worlds run. All sorts of stuff. So anyway, Hope to see you over on the channel starting every day at 8 a.m. And as always, like I said earlier, thank you for watching.
Awesome stuff. Jericho, do some shout outs and tell everyone about your new stream over at mixer.com/Jericho.
Mixer did follow me during the break, so intel. No,
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thanks
God.
for having me as always, guys. It's always a pleasure. Today I am playing Call of Duty, so if you're into that, come hang out. Tomorrow, horror games. I'm, like I said, a big bitch, so if you want to see me cry, that's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna be looking at memes on Friday. I'm not doing anything meaningful, so just skip that day. But always a good time. Thank you guys for having me, and I'll probably see you guys before too long.
Awesome stuff. Last but not least, what am I up to? I'm going to take the rest of the day off. I got to get prepared for a big move tomorrow. Because we're playing Luigi's Mansion. I think me and Strippin are going to play that together, and maybe some others. Should be, I don't know what to expect. I've never played a Luigi's Mansion game, so I guess we'll see how that goes. Friday, we'll be watching the BlizzCon stuff, probably, unless I get DMCA'd. So if you want to see me potentially get banned, I don't know. Might happen. And then I got to figure out what I'm going to continue. I was expecting to play more Outer Worlds, but after hearing some of the discussion today, I might have to revisit that idea and maybe just go back to Divinity. I don't know. We'll see. But that's it for us here. And that's it for Drop Frames. So thank you guys for watching. We will see you next week with another show, probably on Wednesday. It'll be the final show before Death Stranding. So I guess reviews will probably be out for that, which we can see if that game's actually good according to the reviews. It's going to be a fun show. I'm looking forward to that. So,
Oh man.
yeah,
We're almost living in the timeline where Death Stranding actually exists.
I know. They put another 8-minute trailer today, apparently. So,
I'm not gonna watch it.
Oh, apparently it's spoilery.
yeah, I would think,
Yeah.
yeah, most stuff at this stage. Maybe I won't watch it. I don't know. Anyways, that's it. Thanks everyone for watching. Zeke, good luck on your move. Hope
you.
everything goes well, and good luck on the drive. We'll see you next
Yes.
time. Have a good one.